Hey guys, how's it going? My name is always and welcome back to Stoneblock 2. In the last episode, we attempted to do two different automations all at the same time, and it didn't really work out too well, but I have done some work off camera. We also got a sheep to spawn, which is interesting. But yeah, we were trying to automate, first of all, the inscribers from Applied Energistics so that we can make the processors pretty much constantly. And I have currently all of the filters set up, so anything we put in here should get filtered around. Once I turn this back on, which it is currently off, and everything has a filter, so we're filtering the printed silicon, the redstone, and then the three printed circuits. Each one has their item that it needs, and nothing too difficult or major. I need to get a couple more silicon if I want to get one of each of the processors, but for now that is good enough, and we'll live with having to come down here and put stuff in here. One thing I absolutely despise is let's actually move this. I know this is centered. No, it's not even centered. Okay, we're gonna move this. We're gonna move this just one block back. And I'll need to grab some stone. Not a big deal, but that is so much nicer. Do I have any stone? Well, if I did, it would be over here, because that was the other thing we were automating. We were doing a Cobbleworks, which is this whole system, which is not quite finished. I have all the filters and stuff, but we have to do some things with this to make it work. So I need just... I wish I had another piece of stone. We can get another piece of stone pretty easily. Let's go ahead and just smelt those up, and we'll leave the rest of the stone in here. But basically the idea is we have 4 crushers, one to turn cobblestone into gravel, gravel into dirt, dirt into sand, sand into dust. And then we also have 2 smelters, one to turn cobblestone into stone, and the other to turn sand into glass. So this is all the stuff we'll get from this. And we just got to get a couple more item conduits and some energy over here, and that will be working. So why do we want this? Well, we're going to use the gravel, sand, and dust to do some automatic sifting. And once we have that, we can do more stuff. By the way, I realized I had a whole bunch of double layer capacitors, so I went ahead and put one in here rather than having the basic capacitor. Nothing major. But I did one thing between episodes that I want to show off because it's really important. Let's light that up. So I have some clipboards. Clipboards are an interesting item. I really like clipboards. Clipboards are amazing, but I have 3 different clipboards. Unfortunately, I don't have an anvil to name them, but this one has all of the seeds in the game. This one has all of the cows, and this one, you might guess, has all the chickens. So these are my lists for breeding the cows and breeding the chickens and making the seeds, so that we can have all the farming stuff we want. Now, one thing to note, the cows, I believe, if I remember correctly, don't the cows have stats? I don't remember if the cows have stats or not. I know the chickens do, and I will mark them off once I have 10 the chickens. But then if the cows need to be 10 I will also do that. We'll look into that more later. The sheep is coming over here. Do we have the ability to make an animal net? Animal nets might be really useful. Yeah, it's string and sticks. Let's make an animal net. And I really dislike that standard search keep. Let's just turn this to auto search so that it doesn't mess up the JEI stuff. So that is fine. The animal nets are a really cheap way to come over here and capture animals. We're just going to do that so that we have the animals. But yeah, I made those clipboards. The clipboards, by the way, are really cheap. Black dye, I use the not artificial, the organic black dye, which we made a lot of a couple episodes ago. Eggs and coal, charcoal, pulverized coal. That's really easy to do. And then it's just a feather, pressure plates, and paper. We're getting feathers from the chicken over here. Same with the eggs. And yeah, no big deal. No problem whatsoever. We have a ton of quartz, which is wonderful. And yeah, so the clipboards are relatively cheap, and I love them. One of my favorite items, to be perfectly honest. It's such a weird item, but it's such a useful item that I just absolutely love them. So let's get into today's episode and get to work doing what I want to work on. So first of all, we're going to finish up the automation with this, and to do so, we're going to need some energy. So we're going to make some energetic alloys, and I need some more item conduits, which are easy enough to make. I did make sure I had some conduit binder, but the problem with the mechanism machines is we cannot insert and extract in the same space. So we are going to have to just break that. That's fine. We are going to have to come back here and put some more stuff. Now I did set up all these machines to be able to receive items on the back. It doesn't actually, I don't think it actually matters if you have input or output, but I have input and output on, so input on the top, output on the back, and we're going to have to take this one step at a time. So the only ones that are going to have red inputs, because that is going to be red, is this one and the first one. Everything else extracts green, which is exactly what we want to do. And honestly, the insert is not important. This is stone. This gets extracted, and that's it. This is pretty easy. Extract always active. Just make sure they're always active. There should be no filters on the extract because it doesn't matter. The only one that matters is this one will be the sand, because we have gravel, dirt, sand. This will need to be on round robin. That's the only difference. So this one is dirt. Dirt just... Actually, they all need to be on round robin, except for... Dust doesn't need to be, stone doesn't need to be, and glass doesn't need to be. But because we're going to be sending some dirt there and some dirt here, we do need to put all of these on round robin. So sand, but not dust. Dust is only going to go to the end. But the gravel does also need to be put on round robin. So that is pretty much it. Let's just do this. We can cover that up later if we want to. And that is going to be extract red, always active. So that is everything set up. So like I said, I have filters. This is for sand. Sand only can go in there. That's going to produce dust. Dust will go only into here. And this is just an empty insert. But it can only insert those 6 items. So no cobblestone will ever go down there. We could have it on a green, but then I'd have to have some more filters. So it's easier to do it that way. Anyways, our energetic alloys are done, which means we can go ahead and make a couple of energy conduits. And we can get rid of both of those for now. And the energy conduits are going to go along the top. And what we're going to do, because there is, there's an even number. We'll just put it right here. We're going to make another Flux Point, I do believe, for removing energy from the flux network. So we need a redstone block and some flux cores. Nothing too major. All my supplies are in here. And then we can get on to the next thing. So 9 redstone. I am running low on a lot of supplies, but that's okay. We do need to get some more flux cores. I should have looked at the recipe. We're going to need blaze powder, What else are we going to need? 4 obsidian and 4 more redstone. Okay, so a lot of that stuff is not too difficult. Obsidian is a little bit annoying, but not difficult at all. In fact, I have a bunch of buckets. We can put some blaze powder to get the Eye of Ender. So I just need to cook up the redstone, get 4 buckets of lava to turn into obsidian, and that is actually not that bad. So is there any other ways to make flux? No, just smelting. Now eventually we are going to have a lot of Applied Energistics stuff in here, and this is not what the room's going to look like. I'm actually still debating on how I want it to look, but we're just going to set up some temporary stuff so we can get supplies. And then once we have a lot of resources coming in, we can worry about making the place look a little bit nicer. And we'll probably spend an episode or 2 doing that. Now I can do this. And cool, perfect. There is the obsidian. We can put the buckets away as well. And make the flux point. So we get that. And there is the flux point. Perfect. Now, the big question with all this is, do we have enough energy coming in? So currently, it's running a little bit, but it's mostly just off. So we're going to put this here. We're going to network selection, main power, and these all turn on. And the question is, how much power are we going to be losing? So far, none. Let's keep it on RF. So this is making gravel. We should see every other gravel go in here. So this should increase. I think is how it works. Otherwise, things will get backed up. So gravel is going in there. Is gravel also going in? This is very slow, for the record. Gravel is also going in there. And so it's going to take some time. And then what we can do, we can actually upgrade these with speed upgrades, or we can also use the factories. We can use these tier installers, which is going to require a good bit of osmium to make them, but that will allow them to make more each time. So it would have 3 slots for cobblestone rather than just the 1. So it is making dirt into sand, and the sand is actually going to 3 places, so that is a little bit slower. But it is going to eventually do everything we need, and we can go ahead and clean up a little bit of this. I need 1 more. So yeah, this is something that hopefully is not going to be using too much power. We're still gaining power, so we can run that no problem. Alright, cool. With that done, obviously we need to upgrade that, and that'll be later once we upgrade our power generation, because that's going to be a little bit more important. But the rest of the episode, what I want to focus on is sifting and doing a little bit of automation with that. Now, we're probably going to need to make another flux point. We're going to have a lot of those, for the record. But we have the auto sieve, and this thing is what we're going to use. Now, ideally, I actually went through. So let's look at mesh. Why not? So the various meshes do different things. They allow you to get different resources. For gravel, for example, the difference between a string mesh and a flint mesh is just higher chances for stuff. That is it. Everything else with this is completely and utterly just not important. It is the same items, just better chances. So 13% chance for flint, 18% with the flint mesh. However, once you get to the iron, and for the record, the iron and the diamond, the only difference is that you get a chance for the grains of infinity. And again, probably chances. Yeah, the chances are higher for diamond meshes. Now, here's the thing. everything in the flint mesh is the same as the iron mesh plus more, except for gravel flint. Now, I went through and I looked at what everything had. I didn't look at the chances because typically those just improve. But for the three major things, which is gravel, sand, and dust, dust, there is no reason not to use diamond meshes. For sand, the only thing we will not get is cactus seeds and cocoa beans, which, to be honest, we can farm those otherwise. If we can just get one of each, which we can always use manual sifting, then we don't really have to worry about anything with that. It will be fine for that. And then the only thing for gravel is flint, like I said. We have to use a flint mesh to get flint, or we can get flint other ways. You can get flint from just combining gravel, and that's probably what we'll do until we get into mystical agriculture and or chickens. So there's no reason to not use just 3 diamond meshes for the 3 main things. I went through everything else. For the most part, we'll only ever need to use 1 mesh for anything else. And for the most part, we don't really need anything else. The netherrack does give us, crushed netherrack does give us ardite and cobalt, which is nice. We'll get those in other ways later. But for the most part, we just need to kind of just make sure these 3 are good and everything else doesn't matter. For example, like soul sand. Soul sand is awful because if we look at the, oh my gosh, I can click. If we look at what soul sand does, so string is the only way to get netherwort. Well, once we have 1 netherwort, we can grow netherwort otherwise. But you need flint for black quartz and diamond for gas tiers. Now, the question is, do you want black quartz more? Black quartz isn't easy to get otherwise. So that is a thing. I mean, there is chickens. There's a lot of ways to get things. Once we get into chickens heavily, the sifting is not going to matter too much, but it is a good way to have kind of passive generation of materials and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there is a lot of different kind of questions of what we want to do. But I have a list on my desk of everything that we need. And for now, we're just going to sit with 3. So the recipe for this is very expensive on iron. So for now, we're just going to worry about getting gravel. And the cool thing is, we can just, grab this. Now here is an actual question. Because if we look at this, we can enchant these meshes. And specifically, fortune and efficiency. And I think fortune is the most important. Efficiency, not so much. But if I don't have another diamond, which it doesn't look like I do, we can't enchant it yet. So that is something we'll have to do later. We'll get enchanting table and all that kind of fun stuff and enchant our meshes to be better. So I'm going to just set this up right here. And this is going to be fairly manual. We're going to just have conduit and conduit. And later, if we have more, we can have conduits up like that. But, and, tell it what it needs to have. We need to go ahead and make a chest. And this is auto sifting. Now, obviously, we would have to put whatever we want to sift into this, which is not that big of a deal. But what are we going to do with it? Well, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to need another chest. And we're going to need, actually, let's move that torch over a little bit. We'll put the chest there. This will be the output, and this will be insert. And we're going to do something fancy. So we're going to put a single energy conduit right there. And I do want to actually make another... I wish I had more redstone. I do actually want to make another Flux Point. But we're going to make a crafter. A crafter tier 3. So we're going to need 6 crafting tables. And we're going to need some other stuff. So, crafter tier 3 is going to need 2, 4, 6 things of redstone. We really need redstone. So let's see. Can we make the machine frame? We just need some lapis, which I think I have over there. Okay, so we need redstone. Do we have any dust yet? That's how we get redstone. We have 6. So we can at least test this part. So dust goes in here. It doesn't have power. Right. I guess we'll have to sift it over here and get a little bit of redstone. Right, that's how you get redstone, isn't it? Yeah, it's a 25% chance, and we got none. Man, redstone is kind of awful. Okay, so I'll tell you guys what. I will be right back once I have some redstone. I'm going to get some redstone together. Probably what I'm going to do is uncompress some sand and hammer it down and sift it manually. And we'll come back in a moment once we have all of that. So, like I said, I'm going to get some redstone. I'm going to go ahead and make another Flux Point, and we'll get the very, very basic sifting system together. So, be right back. Alright, so that didn't take too long. So we can go ahead, I made the Flux Point. We can go ahead and make the crafter tier 3. So we're going to need a machine frame. And I have just enough redstone to make the redstone torches that we need. And it is as simple as this. And just upgrading the crafter 3 times. And now we have a crafter tier 3. So what we can do with this is we're going to place it down right here. And we're going to put insert extract, self-feed disabled, always active, priority. Oh no, I gotta remember how priority works for these. I believe it's higher priority. So, to explain, some mods will use priority in a logical way. Higher number means it chooses it first. Other mods will use priority in the opposite way. Higher number means it's chosen last. So it goes from lowest to highest. I believe Ender IO is higher priority is higher preference. So it will go there first. But we can just put the Flux Point right here. Set that up with the network selection. And get these guys powered up. So, why are we doing this? Well, one, hopefully we still maintain energy. I also put all the sand I had in here. We have a lot of sand. So, here's the thing. What we're going to do is we're going to sift things in there with whatever we get from there. For now, it's going to be just the one, and it's going to be fairly manual. But we're going to get a bunch of things. We're going to get things like iron and nickel and tin. We're not going to get ardite. Gold, silver, lead, osmium. We're going to get all this stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to teach this guy how to make the various ore chunks. And now this has, I believe it's 8 recipes. So we're going to apply that. And we're going to put these guys in here. So gold. It's going to make those. We're going to apply that. And if I put this in here, it's going to actually make the gold chunks. And it's going to put those in here. That is the idea. So iron, gold, tin, apply copper. We'll need silver, silver and lead. We'll go ahead and do silver. Apply, and it made some of those. Do I not have any copper pieces? That is unfortunate. But what I can do is, let's do nickel and apply, and then osmium, apply. And something we know is not going to go in there is cobblestone. So what we can do is we can put a bunch of cobblestone in there, and then we can tell this to remember the inventory. Now here's the cool thing. Nothing that's not in this inventory can't go there. And it does remember that osmium goes there and lead. And so what we can do is we can use this as kind of a filter, so that only things that can fit in there are going to go in there. Everything else is going to go in here. So now, if we grab, I have a little bit of gravel. We can throw some gravel in there, and it's going to start sifting it. And here's the neat thing. Apart from copper, iron should always go in here. In fact, it did, and it made an iron ore chunk. But apart from the things we don't have, so copper, which I don't even know, how can we get copper ore pieces? It is gravel. It is a 10% chance. So copper and aluminum came in here. Unfortunately, we can make copper ore, and then what we can do is put cobblestone in all of these, and we can turn this off for right now, and wait for another piece of osmium. Aluminum will go in here, and that's okay, but we can set it up so that copper goes in there, and we could have multiple crafters if we wanted, with these types of filters. So I just need osmium. How do we get, is osmium also from gravel? Yes, it is a 4% chance though, so it is a pretty low chance. So this isn't going to craft anything, and so what I can do is once I get the copper, I can put it in here, and it'll be fine. So that's kind of the idea. And then whatever I put in here, if we use, for example, if we sift some sand, let's find the sifting page. Sand has a bunch of things. We're using diamonds, so gold, iron, copper, tin, aluminum. Actually a higher chance for the osmium. So let's just get a stack and put that in there. And how is our power doing? Are we still gaining power? No, we are now losing power. So we've got to deal with power a little bit. But is there osmium yet? Once we get osmium in there, we can put copper. Does sand get copper? Yes. Okay. But basically, we'll get everything else. There is the osmium. Alright, forget copper. Remember. And we can turn it back on. And it will slowly fill this back up. And perfect. So now we are going to get nothing but the ore chunks in here other than aluminum. And then we can eventually use that to automatically smelt it up. Whether we want to use a smelter, which is probably what I considered a smelter. Smelter would work well, but ore piece or chunk. But we could also crush them, pulverize them. There is other ways we can make more. Rich slag would give us 3. And we can actually get rich slag automatically from chickens later. So there is some considerations for what we'll want to do with the ore pieces. For now, we're just going to bring them over here and smelt them up in here. As you can see, I have a bunch of that kind of stuff. And we'll just go from there. But whether or not we do it that way, I don't know. So for now, one of the big things that we're working towards is these factory blocks, which require a lot of iron. So with that, and stone. So with that, we can get both stone and iron. We have 135 stone, so it's not like there's too much problem. But we can just let this go. And in fact, chest upgrades. Let's make an upgrade. We need 8 iron. We have 6 in here. And I think I saw 2. Do I have any more iron? You know what? Let's just wait a moment, and we should get some more iron. How close are we? 8, 2. There's 3. So in just a moment, we'll get another iron, I'm sure. And we can make this iron upgrade. We can upgrade this chest. And we don't have to worry about it filling up. As much, anyways. So that is not too much of a problem. I don't think we have enough iron. Oh, we have plenty of iron. Never mind. So we'll make a wood to iron chest upgrade. And this is simple enough. We just shift click it, and now it's a bigger chest. Cool. So that is just some basic automation. We need to kind of start planning this room a little bit better. What I'm thinking, because I want to eventually have the Draconic Evolution power storage, that is going to go at the very bottom of this area. And so I think what we're going to do is have a little bit of a staircase down, and then it's going to be like a scaffolding all the way around. And every once in a while, we'll have like a little room or something for various things. So that is kind of the plan. Not entirely sure how we're going to do it yet, but maybe I can start working on that between episodes. Maybe not. Maybe next time we will do something completely different. So I have no idea. We'll figure things out. Anyways, that is going to be it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!